Commander Sarah Chen stared at the empty streets of New Tokyo through the cracked window of what used to be a busy shopping center. The silence was wrong. 7 million people had lived on Meridian Colony just 3 weeks ago. Now there was nothing but empty buildings and the smell of death in the air. Her boots crunched on broken glass as she walked through the colony's main street. Behind her, 20 soldiers followed in complete silence. They had all seen the reports. They knew what they would find. But seeing it with their own eyes was different. "Commander," called Sergeant Williams from across the street. "You need to see this." Chun walked over to where Williams stood next to a large screen that was still working. The sergeant pressed a button, and security footage began to play. Chun watched as tall, gray aliens in smooth suits walked calmly through the same street she was standing on. The aliens carried strange weapons that looked like silver tubes. In the video, human families ran in panic. Children screamed for their parents. The gray aliens, the Zephyrians, showed no emotion as they pointed their weapons at the running people. Bright blue lights shot out, and the humans simply fell down and stopped moving. "They didn't even try to fight back," Williams said quietly. "Look at this part." He fast-forwarded the video to show a group of human leaders walking up to the aliens with their hands raised. They were trying to surrender. The leader of the Zephyrians, a tall creature with black eyes, listened to the human words for exactly 10 seconds. Then he raised his weapon and killed them all. Chun felt sick. She had been in many battles, but this was different. This was not war. This was extermination. "Commander, we found the processing centers," called another soldier from her radio. Chun and her team walked to the edge of the city where a large metal building stood. Inside, they found the truth of what happened to Meridian Colony. Huge machines that sorted and processed human bodies like they were nothing more than waste. The Zephyrians had not just killed the colonists. They had treated them like animals to be cleaned up. Chun picked up a small toy from the floor. It was a stuffed bear, probably dropped by a child during the panic. She squeezed it tight in her hand. "Ma'am," Williams said softly, "we found recordings of their communications." Chun put on the headphones and listened to the alien voices speaking in their own language. Her computer translated the words into English. "Processing of the infestation is complete," said one voice. "Good," replied another. "The planet is now suitable for our use." The local species showed minimal resistance. They were weaker than expected. "Should we prepare a report on their capabilities?" asked the first voice. "No need. They pose no threat. Mark this world as cleared of pests." Chun threw the headphones down. Pests. That's what they called humans. Pests to be cleared away. She activated her long-range communicator. "This is Commander Chun to Earth Command. Meridian Colony is lost. All 7 million colonists are dead. The Zephyrians did not come for war or conquest. They came for extermination." The voice of Admiral Morrison crackled through the speaker. "Confirmed, Commander. Return to Earth immediately. The President has called an emergency session of the United Nations." The journey back to Earth took 6 days. Chun spent every hour looking at the reports from Meridian. Videos of families being separated. Audio recordings of children calling for help. Pictures of the clean, efficient way the aliens had destroyed an entire human settlement. When Chun arrived on Earth, the world had already changed. Every news channel showed the same images from Meridian. Every country had declared a state of emergency. People gathered in the streets, not in celebration, but in fear and anger. Chun was brought directly to the United Nations building in New York. Inside the Great Assembly Hall, representatives from every nation sat in complete silence. At the front of the room, President Marcus Torres stood behind a podium. His face was pale and his eyes were red. Chun knew that the president's daughter had been living on Meridian when the attack happened. "Ladies and gentlemen," President Torres began, his voice shaking. "We have all seen the evidence from Meridian Colony. We know what the Zephyrians did to our people. 7 million human beings were murdered not because they posed a threat, but because aliens saw them as nothing more than insects to be crushed." The room remained silent. For 100,000 years, humanity has fought against nature, against disease, against each other. We have survived ice ages, plagues, and wars. We have reached for the stars because we believed that somewhere out there we would find friends. Instead, we found creatures who see us as vermin. President Torres picked up a document from the podium. "Today, I am asking this assembly to pass the Human Protection Act. This law states one simple truth. No alien species shall be allowed to threaten humanity again. We will not wait for them to attack. We will not try to negotiate with creatures who see us as pests. We will find them, and we will end them before they can end us." The vote was unanimous. Not one nation voted against the law. Chun watched from the back of the room as history changed forever. Humanity had always been the hunter, even when they lived in caves and hunted with stones. Now they would hunt among the stars. After the vote, President Torres spoke one more time. "To every alien species that might be listening to this broadcast, you have shown us what you think of human life. Now we will show you what happens when you threaten the children of Earth. We are no longer the peaceful explorers who came to Meridian hoping for friendship. We are predators, and we are coming for you." Chun touched the small stuffed bear in her pocket. 7 million people had died, believing that the universe was a place where different species could live together in peace. They had been wrong. Now it was up to the survivors to make sure that no human ever made that mistake again. The war for humanity's survival had begun. Dr. Elena Vasquez stared at the alien device on her laboratory table. It had been recovered from the Meridian Colony, dropped by one of the Zephyrians during their attack. For 6 months, she had been trying to understand how it worked. Today, she finally had an answer. "Computer, begin recording," she said. Dr. Elena Vasquez, Project Prometheus. Day 184. I have successfully interfaced with the Zephyrian neural weapon using human brain patterns. She picked up the silver tube and pointed it at a target across the room. When she thought about firing, a blue beam shot out and melted a hole through the metal target. But something else happened too. Information flooded into her mind. Data about the weapon, about Zephyrian technology, about their ships and their planets. "This is incredible," she whispered. "The human brain can read alien technology like a book." They never expected this. Down the hall from Dr. Vasquez's laboratory, General David Kim was training the first group of human space marines. These were not the soldiers of old Earth wars. These men and women had been selected for their ability to think like predators. "Listen carefully," General Kim told the 50 soldiers standing in front of him. "Aliens fight like they live in a civilized galaxy. They have rules. They take prisoners. They negotiate surrender. We will not." He activated a hologram that showed a Zephyrian ship. "When you see an alien, you do not see an enemy soldier. You see a pest that killed 7 million humans. You do not capture it. You do not question it. You kill it. Then you kill the next one. Then you kill all of them." Sergeant Maria Santos, one of the new Marines, raised her hand. "Sir, what if they try to surrender?" General Kim's eyes went cold. "Sergeant, did the children on Meridian get a chance to surrender? No alien will survive contact with human forces. That is the law." The Marines nodded. They understood. This was not about winning battles. This was about making sure that no alien species would ever again think humans were easy prey. Across the world, factories that had once made cars and computers now built warships. The designs came from Dr. Vasquez's research. Human engineers had learned to combine alien technology with human ideas, creating weapons that no alien had ever seen before. Commander Sarah Chun, now promoted to Admiral, stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution, the first ship built specifically to hunt aliens. It was not the largest ship humans had ever built, but it was the most dangerous. Every system on the ship was designed for one purpose: to find alien vessels and destroy them completely. "Admiral," said Captain Brooks from the navigation station, "we have detected a Zephyrian patrol group at the edge of the system. 3 ships moving towards the asteroid belt." Chun smiled. For 2 years, humanity had been preparing for this moment. The first real test of their new military. "All stations battle alert," she ordered. "Communications, send a message to Earth. Tell them we have found the enemy." The human fleet moved like a pack of wolves. 5 ships against 3, but the numbers did not tell the real story. The Zephyrians expected another easy fight against primitive humans. Instead, they found themselves facing something they had never encountered before. The alien commander sent the usual message demanding surrender. Chun deleted it without listening to it. "Fire all weapons," she ordered. The battle lasted exactly 4 minutes and 37 seconds. The human ships moved in patterns that the aliens could not predict. They used weapons that cut through alien shields like they were made of paper. When the Zephyrians tried to escape, the humans hunted them down one by one. The last alien ship sent out a desperate message asking for mercy. Chun listened to the translation. "Please, we have families. We surrender. Do not destroy us." Admiral Chun thought about the 7 million humans who had asked for the same mercy and received none. "Target destroyed," reported the weapons officer. There were no alien survivors. News of the victory reached Earth within hours. President Torres addressed the world again, this time with a smile on his face. "My fellow humans," he said, "today we prove that we are no longer victims. Our military has achieved total victory over a Zephyrian patrol fleet. No human lives were lost. No alien lives were spared. Around the world, people cheered. Children who had been afraid of aliens for 2 years could sleep peacefully again. Adults who had lost family members on Meridian felt that justice was finally being served. But the victory had consequences that no one expected. Deep in space, other alien species received emergency messages from the Zephyrian homeworld. The messages spoke of a new threat. A species from a small blue planet that fought without honor, without mercy, without rules. A species that killed every alien they met and used alien technology better than the aliens themselves. The Andromedans, who had traded peacefully with dozens of species for thousands of years, called an emergency council meeting. The Helix Confederation, a group of species that had never fought a war, began building weapons for the first time in their history. On Earth, Dr. Vasquez continued her research. She had discovered that human brains could not only use alien technology, but improve it. Weapons became more deadly. Ships became faster. Communication systems became more powerful. General Kim trained more Marines. Thousands of young men and women volunteered to join the human Space Corps. They all wanted to be part of humanity's mission to protect their species. Admiral Chun prepared for the next mission. Intelligence reports showed that there were 15 more Zephyrian ships in nearby systems. Her orders were simple: find them and destroy them all. But late at night, when Chun was alone in her cabin, she sometimes wondered if they were doing the right thing. The aliens they had killed had asked for mercy. They had mentioned families. Were all aliens truly the same as the ones who had attacked Meridian? She pushed the thought away. 7 million humans were dead because they had trusted aliens. That mistake would never happen again. Outside her window, the stars looked different now. They were no longer points of light that promised adventure and friendship. They were hunting grounds where humanity would prove that they were the galaxy's greatest predators. The war had only just begun. Strike Commander Jake Morrison floated in the darkness outside the trading station, watching through his helmet camera as alien ships docked and undocked like nothing was wrong. The station called itself Harmony Point, a place where dozens of different species came to trade goods and share news. In 1 hour, there would be no aliens left alive there. Team Alpha? Report status. Morrison spoke quietly into his ways. Communicator. Charges placed on the main reactor, came the reply from Corporal Park. Ready to cut off their escape routes. Morrison had done this 43 times in the past 5 years. Find aliens. Kill aliens. Move to the next target. It had become as routine as eating breakfast. But something felt different about this mission. His intelligence briefing had mentioned that Harmony Point housed refugees from 3 different wars. Species that had been driven from their home worlds by other aliens and were looking for a safe place to live. Children and elderly aliens who had never hurt anyone. Morrison pushed the thought away. Orders were orders. The law was clear. Team Beta, what's your status on the docking base? He asked. All escape pods disabled, sir, replied Sergeant Williams. No one is leaving this station alive. Morrison's team had become famous throughout the human space course. They were efficient, ruthless, and had never failed a mission. Other soldiers called them the Ghost Squad because they left nothing behind but empty ships and silent stations. Remember, Morrison told his team as they prepared to enter the station, the law states that no alien shall survive. It doesn't matter if they seem friendly. It doesn't matter if they beg. 7 million humans died because we trusted aliens once. Never again. The team cut through the station's outer hull and entered through the cargo bay. Immediately, they could hear the sounds of normal life. Alien voices speaking in languages that their computers translated. Children playing games. Adults discussing business deals. Morrison felt a strange feeling in his stomach. For 5 years, they had been attacking military targets and Zephyrian colonies. This was different. These aliens were not soldiers. They were just trying to live. The team moved through the corridors like shadows. Morrison had trained them to be invisible until the moment they struck. The aliens never saw them coming. They reached the main trading floor where hundreds of aliens from dozens of species were going about their daily business. Morrison saw tall, thin creatures with blue skin trading gems with short, furry aliens who looked almost cute. In one corner, alien children were playing with toys while their parents talked. Sir, whispered Corporal Lisa Park through the comm. Are you sure about this? These don't look like the aliens that attacked Meridian. Morrison looked at Park through his helmet camera. She was young, only 19 years old, and this was her first mission with the Ghost Squad. She still had doubts. He would train those doubts out of her, just like they had been trained out of him. Corporal, an alien is an alien, he said firmly. The Zephyrians looked peaceful too, until they started killing our people. But even as he said the words, Morrison felt uncertain. One of the alien children had noticed them through a window and was waving happily. The child thought humans were friends. Team, prepare for cleansing operation, Morrison ordered. Remember, quick and clean. No survivors. The Ghost Squad moved into position around the trading floor. Morrison counted down from 10. When he reached 0, they would open fire and kill every alien in sight. 10, 9, 8. Morrison's hands shook slightly as he held his weapon. He thought about the briefing files he had read about some of these species. The Catherians were a peaceful race that had never developed weapons more dangerous than farming tools. The Milani were traders who spent their lives moving between different worlds, building friendships across the galaxy. 7, 6, 5. Through his scope, Morrison watched an adult Catherian help a young alien from a different species reach a toy on a high shelf. The adult didn't even know the child, but helped anyway because it was the right thing to do. 4, 3. Morrison thought about his sister who had died on Meridian. She had been a teacher who loved working with children. What would she think if she could see him now about to kill alien children? 2. Corporal Park's voice came through the comm, shaking with emotion. "Sir, I can't do this. These aren't soldiers. They're families." 1. Morrison's finger froze on the trigger. Around the trading floor, his team waited for his order to fire. The aliens continued their peaceful activities, not knowing that death was seconds away. "Sir?" asked Sergeant Williams. "Do we fire?" Morrison watched as 2 young Catherian children ran up to their parent, excited about something they had found in one of the shops. The parent picked them up and hugged them, exactly like human parents did with their children. For the first time in 5 years, Morrison wondered if they had become the monsters, but then he remembered his orders. He remembered the law. He remembered the 7 million dead humans who would never hug their children again. "Fire," he whispered. The attack lasted 3 minutes. Morrison's team moved through the station like a deadly storm, killing every alien they found. Adults, children, elderly aliens, it didn't matter. The law was absolute. When it was over, Morrison stood in the middle of the silent trading floor, surrounded by the bodies of aliens who had died not knowing why humans wanted them dead. Corporal Park sat on the floor, crying inside her helmet. "Commander, what have we done?" They were innocent. Morrison looked at the young soldier. He remembered feeling the same way after his first few missions. The doubt, the guilt, the questions about right and wrong. Command had taught him how to push those feelings away. "Corporal, listen to me carefully," he said. "Innocent aliens killed 7 million innocent humans. There is no such thing as a good alien. Today, we protected humanity from a future threat." But even as he said the words, Morrison didn't believe them anymore. The Ghost Squad planted their explosives and left the station. Behind them, Harmony Point exploded in a bright flash that could be seen for millions of miles. Another alien stronghold destroyed. Another victory for humanity. But across the galaxy, other species had been watching. The attack on Harmony Point was broadcast on alien news networks. Images of human soldiers killing peaceful families spread to every corner of known space. The message was clear. Humanity would show no mercy to any alien. No matter how innocent. In response, alien species that had never worked together before began to form alliances. The Andromedans, the Helix Confederation, the surviving Catherians, and dozens of others joined together with one goal: stop the humans before they killed every non-human in the galaxy, on Earth. President Torres received reports of the mission's success. Harmony Point was destroyed, all aliens eliminated, no human casualties. Another perfect victory for the human Space Corps. But late that night, Morrison sent a coded message to his old friend Admiral Chun. The message contained just 4 words: "We are becoming them." Admiral Sarah Chun stood on the bridge of the UE's Retribution, watching as hundreds of alien ships surrounded the outer planets of the solar system. For 5 years, humanity had been the hunters. Today, they had become the hunted. Admiral called Captain Brooks from his station. Long-range sensors show over 800 enemy vessels. They're from at least 15 different species. Chun felt a cold fear run down her spine. In all their missions against aliens, humans had never faced more than a few ships at once. This was an entire galaxy united against them. "Communications, any word from Earth?" she asked. "President Torres is declaring a state of emergency," Brooks replied. "All human forces are being recalled to defend the home system." Chun watched the alien fleet through the main screen. She could see ship designs she had never encountered before. Weapons that looked far more advanced than anything humanity had stolen from the Zephyrians. The aliens had been preparing for this war while humans thought they were winning. The communication system activated, and a voice spoke in perfect English. Human vessels. This is Admiral Threskull of the Galactic Defense Coalition. You are surrounded and outnumbered 10 to 1. Surrender now, and your species will be granted a quick end. Chun laughed bitterly. A quick end? Just like we gave the aliens at Harmony Point? She opened a channel to respond. This is Admiral Chun of the Human Space Corps. Humanity does not surrender to aliens. If you want to destroy us, you'll have to earn it. So be it, came the reply. The battle began immediately. Chun watched in horror as the alien fleet attacked with perfect coordination. They had studied human tactics and developed countermeasures for everything humanity, had learned to do. Human ships that relied on speed found themselves caught in gravitational traps. Weapons that had cut through alien shields like paper bounced harmlessly off new defensive technologies. The aliens fought like they had been planning this attack for years. Admiral, called the weapons officer. The UE's vengeance just exploded. The aliens are using some kind of weapon that turns our own power cores against us. Chun realized that humanity was facing something they had never encountered before, an enemy that was smarter than they were, on Earth. President Torres sat in the emergency bunker beneath the United Nations building, watching reports from the battle. Dr. Elena Vasquez sat across from him, her face pale with worry. Madam President, she said quietly, I've been reviewing the intelligence reports. Some of the species attacking us never supported the Meridian massacre. The Catherians actively protested it. The Andromedans tried to send aid to our colonists. Torres looked at her with tired eyes. Dr. Vasquez, are you saying we've been killing innocent aliens? I'm saying that maybe the Zephyrians weren't speaking for all aliens, she replied. Maybe we created this war by refusing to see the difference between our enemies and potential friends. Torres thought about the past 5 years. The reports of successful missions. The celebrations every time human forces destroyed another alien target. The growing fear in alien communication networks as word of human brutality spread. It doesn't matter now, he said finally. We made our choice. The law was clear. No alien shall survive. We can't take that back. But Dr. Vasquez wasn't finished. Sir, I've discovered something else. The aliens aren't trying to exterminate us the way we've been exterminating them. They're using weapons designed to disable our ships, not destroy them. They're trying to capture us, not kill us. Torres looked at the battle reports again. She was right. Human casualties were much lower than they should be against such overwhelming force. The aliens were showing mercy that humanity had refused to show them in space. Admiral Chun was learning the same lesson. Her ship was badly damaged, but the aliens had passed up several chances to destroy it completely. Instead, they seemed to be trying to force her surrender. Admiral, said Captain Brooks, I'm receiving a private communication from the alien commander. Audio only. Chun put on her headphones and heard a voice that sounded almost human. Admiral Chun, this is Admiral Threskull. I studied your tactics for 3 years, preparing for this battle. You are an excellent military leader, but your species has made a terrible mistake. What mistake? Chun asked. You assumed that all aliens were the same as the ones who attacked your colony. In doing so, you became the very thing you feared. You became the species that exterminates others without mercy. Chun felt anger rising in her chest. Your people killed 7 million humans. No, came the reply. The Zephyrians killed 7 million humans. My people, the Helix Confederation, sent aid ships to try to help your colonists. Your forces destroyed those ships and killed the doctors and teachers aboard them. Chun's hand shook. She remembered that mission. A fleet of unmarked alien ships approaching human space. They had assumed it was another attack. Admiral Chun, the alien voice continued, "We do not wish to destroy humanity. We wish to stop you from destroying everyone else. Surrender now, and we will find a way to end this war with honor." Chun looked around her bridge. Her crew was young, brave, and completely loyal to humanity. They had followed her into dozens of battles against impossible odds. They trusted her to make the right choice, but for the first time in 5 years, Chen wasn't sure what the right choice was. Back on Earth, another problem was developing. General Kim entered the emergency bunker, carrying a black briefcase. "Madam President," he said, "Project Ragnarok is ready." Torres looked at the briefcase with horror. Project Ragnarok was humanity's last weapon, a planet-killer device that could destroy entire star systems. It had been built in secret as the ultimate protection against alien invasion. "General, are you suggesting we use that weapon?" Torres asked. "Ma'am, we are facing extinction," Kim replied. "If we activate Ragnarok, we can destroy their entire fleet and send a message to every alien species in the galaxy. Humanity will not go quietly." Dr. Vasquez stood up. "If we use that weapon, we become exactly what the aliens say we are. We become the greatest threat the galaxy has ever seen." Torres looked at the reports from the space battle. Human forces were losing badly. Earth itself would be under attack within hours. The choice was simple: use the ultimate weapon or watch humanity be destroyed. But the choice was also impossible. Use Ragnarok, and humanity would survive as the galaxy's greatest monsters. Don't use it, and humanity might not survive at all. "General," Torres said finally, "prepare the weapon, but do not activate it yet. I need to think." Outside the bunker, alien ships were already entering Earth's atmosphere. The war that humanity had started was about to come home. President Torres stood alone in the command center, her hand hovering over the activation switch for Project Ragnarok. Outside, alien ships filled the sky above Earth. In space, Admiral Chun's fleet was fighting a losing battle. Humanity had minutes to decide its future. General Kim stood behind her, his face hard with determination. "Madam President, we cannot hesitate. If we don't use Ragnarok now, humanity will be wiped out." Dr. Vasquez sat at a computer terminal, still analyzing alien communications. "Ma'am, I'm intercepting messages between the alien fleet commanders. They're arguing about what to do with Earth. Half of them want to destroy us, but the other half are pushing for something called rehabilitation." Torres looked at her old friend. "What does that mean?" "I think it means they want to change us, not kill us," Vasquez replied. "They want to stop our extermination campaigns without committing genocide themselves." General Kim laughed bitterly. "They want to put humanity in a cage. Turn us into pets. That's not acceptable." Torres thought about the past 5 years. The reports of Ghost Squad missions. The celebrations when alien settlements were destroyed. The fear in her people's eyes when they learned that the galaxy was fighting back. "Dr. Vasquez," she said quietly, "show me those intelligence files you mentioned. The ones about aliens who opposed the Meridian Massacre." The scientist brought up holographic displays showing communications from various alien species 5 years ago. Torres read translations of messages from the Andromedans, demanding that the Zephyrians be punished for their crimes. Records of Catherian ships carrying medical supplies to help human colonies. Even evidence that some Zephyrians had protested their own government's decision to attack humans. "My God," Torres whispered. "We've been killing our potential allies." "Ma'am," General Kim said urgently, "those files don't matter now. We are about to be conquered. We must use Ragnarok. Torres looked at the activation switch. One press of a button would unleash a weapon that could destroy the entire alien fleet and several star systems beyond. Humanity would survive, but as the galaxy's greatest nightmare. Before she could decide, the communication system activated. This is Admiral Threshold to President Torres. I request permission to send a small diplomatic ship to Earth's surface. There is someone aboard who wishes to speak with you. General Kim started to refuse, but Torres held up her hand. Permission granted. But any aggressive action will result in immediate retaliation. 20 minutes later, a small alien ship landed in the courtyard outside the United Nations building. Torres, flanked by armed guards, walked out to meet whoever was aboard. The ship's door opened, and a small, elderly alien stepped out. It looked similar to the Cytherians that Strike Commander Morrison had killed at Harmony Point, but older and more frail. Behind it, two other aliens provided support. The elderly alien spoke in English with a voice that shook with age. President Torres, my name is Ambassador Veltar. I am one of the last surviving members of the Cytherian Council of Elders. Torres felt a cold shock. The Cytherians were supposed to be extinct. Human forces had hunted them across 3 star systems. How are you still alive? She asked. Because some humans chose to spare us, Veltar replied. 5 months ago, a strike commander named Morrison found our last refugee ship. His orders were to kill us all. Instead, he helped us escape to a hidden colony. Torres looked at the alien in confusion. That's impossible. Our soldiers follow orders. Your soldier looked at our children and saw his own species' future, Veltar said. He chose mercy over orders. He chose to break your law. General Kim stepped forward. Ma'am, this could be a trap. But Ambassador Veltar continued speaking. President Torres, we know about your planet-killing weapon. We know you could destroy our entire fleet. But we also know that if you do, the cycle of death will never end. Someone must choose to stop the killing. Torres felt tears in her eyes. Your people have done nothing wrong, and we've spent 5 years trying to exterminate you. Why would you show us mercy? Because, Veltar said simply, mercy is what separates civilization from barbarity. Your species forgot that lesson when you were hurt. We hope you can remember it before it's too late. Torres looked back at the building, where General Kim waited with the Ragnarok activation codes. She thought about the past 5 years of war. About 7 million dead humans who had trusted aliens. About millions of dead aliens who had never threatened humanity. She activated her communicator. Admiral Chun, this is President Torres. Do you copy? Chun's voice came through, strained from battle. I copy, Madam President. Should I prepare for Ragnarok activation? Torres looked at Ambassador Veltar, who was watching her with ancient, sad eyes. Admiral, I want you to stand down your weapons and request a ceasefire with the alien fleet. Ma'am? Chun sounded shocked. They have us outnumbered and outgunned. Admiral, that's an order. Tell Admiral Threshold that humanity requests negotiations. In space, Admiral Chun followed her orders with confusion. The alien fleet stopped shooting immediately when she requested the ceasefire. Within minutes, she received a response from Admiral Threshold. Admiral Chun, the Galactic Defense Coalition accepts your request for negotiations. We will meet as equals to discuss the future of our species. Back on Earth, President Torres turned to address the world through the global communication network. Every human on Earth and in the colonies watched as their leader spoke. My fellow humans, she began. 5 years ago, we declared that no alien shall survive. We made this law because we were hurt, afraid, and angry. Today, I am declaring a new law. No species shall face extinction by human hands again. Protests erupted from military leaders and angry citizens who had lost family on Meridian. But Torres continued. We were forged in slaughter, but we choose to be reborn in mercy. We will not win this war through more killing. We will win it by proving that humanity's greatest strength is not our ability to destroy, but our ability to choose a better path when destruction would be easier. Ambassador Veltar stepped forward and spoke to the cameras. To all species watching this broadcast, humanity has chosen to break the cycle of revenge. The Galactic Defense Coalition will honor this choice. Let us build a peace that honors the dead by protecting the living. The negotiations lasted for weeks, but the outcome was never in doubt. Humanity would dismantle its extermination fleets and join the galactic community as equals. The alien species would help rebuild what had been destroyed. Most importantly, both sides would work together to make sure that what happened to Meridian Colony never happened to any species again. 6 months later, President Torres stood in the central plaza of New Meridian, the rebuilt colony that now housed both human and alien families. Children of a dozen different species played together while their parents worked side by side. Admiral Chun, now serving as humanity's ambassador to the Galactic Defense Coalition, approached Torres with a report. "Madam President," she said, "Strike Commander Morrison is requesting permission to establish a new unit, the Galactic Peace Corps. He wants to train humans and aliens to work together protecting colonies from any future threats." Torres smiled. "Permission granted. What about the other members of Ghost Squad?" "Corporal Park is training to be a diplomat," Chum replied. "She says she wants to build instead of destroy." Torres looked up at the sky where human and alien ships patrolled together, protecting the peace they had all fought to create. 7 million humans had died because they trusted aliens. Millions of aliens had died because humans forgot how to trust. But their deaths were not meaningless if the survivors learned to choose mercy over revenge. The galaxy had finally found peace, not through the strength of weapons, but through the courage to forgive.